Hello, good afternoon. So how is everybody so far? Good show? Everybody surviving? It's only the first day, remember. You have to save some energy. So my name is David Del Val, and I'm responsible for Open Gateway at Telefónica. So today, of course, I'm going to talk about Open Gateway. I'm sure you've heard the keynote this morning of the president of the GSMA and all the other CEOs talking about Open Gateway, so I will give you a lot more detail about that. But before starting, let me just give you a friendly reminder that this year is the 100th anniversary of Telefónica, and that we're very proud of that, because for a company to last 100 years, you have to be serving your customers, you really need to be reacting to the market conditions, and you need to be very innovative. And today, in 2024, the way we are being innovative and changing the market is with Open Gateway. The change that we have now ongoing is that everything is software. Everybody is writing applications, and applications are using the capabilities of other platforms to build bigger applications, more performing, and in faster time. The telcos have a lot of capabilities in our networks, in our CRM systems, in all the data that we have about our customers. But till today, it was impossible to use that information and that data by developers. And that's precisely what Open Gateway is changing. So if we look at how Open Gateway looks like, what we have on the top, you have consumers and business that need to solve some problems. They have a pain. And there you have digital services, applications, all kinds of software that is solving these needs from the customers. Who is writing this software? Of course, developers. And developers, what they need is simplicity. They need to do their work in their environments that they know. They work in AWS, they work in Google, they work in Azure. They do that all the time. And they also need that when they call an API, when they're trying to get a capability from a telco, that they only need to develop the software once, call the API, and that works for all the telcos. And that's where the aggregation function comes into play. You have people, companies like Vonage or Infobip, that are providing this aggregation function so that you call once, and it works in all the telcos. So in order for that to happen, as we see in the figure, you have the hyperscalers and aggregators. But these hyperscalers and aggregators, they have to integrate with 700 telcos in the world. That's an impossible task unless all the telcos expose the same layer, the same interface, the same plug. And that's what Open Gateway is. And this interface are the Camara APIs. Camara is a standards body, open source, in collaboration with the GSMA and the Linux Foundation, that offers these APIs in a way that all telcos expose exactly the same, so that hyperscalers and aggregators can expose that to the developers. The magic happens below the API Camaras. You need a platform in each of the telcos to expose these APIs, following this standard. And in the case of Telefónica, we're lucky because we have Telefónica Kernel, which is a platform that abstracts all the complexity underneath in our network, in our different countries, in Brazil, in Germany, in Argentina, everywhere, and exposes the APIs as a single API to the aggregator so that they can aggregate, expose it to the developer that build the solutions with software. So this is Open Gateway in a nutshell. Last year, I was here presenting this new concept of Open Gateway, and the progress has been amazing since then. We now have 47 operators all over the world supporting the concept of Open Gateway. We have 239 networks represented in as many countries, and we have more than 65% of the mobile connections of the world enabled for Open Gateway. But what is more important, there are 6 countries right now where all the operators in the country have launched together the API, so that developers really can get the guarantee that if they call the API, it's going to work regardless of what telco is underneath. 3 of these countries are Telefonica footprint, and we're very proud of all the work we've done in Brazil, in Germany, and in Spain, together with other telcos, to have this running for Mobile World Congress 24. But in addition, we have Indonesia, we have South Africa, we have Sri Lanka. All over the world, we are seeing this multi-telco approach to Open Gateway. So in summary, what is very important for Open Gateway is that we expose all the same APIs so that this is easy and frictionless for developers, that we use the CAMARA standard for exposing this API, so this is easy for aggregators, that all telcos in each country expose the same APIs at the same time, so that, again, developers developing for an application in Spain, it just works. And finally, that we have as many channel partners as possible. We have hyperscalers exposing our APIs. We have Vonage, we have Infobip, we have many others like Salesforce exposing all these APIs so that anybody can use them. So what is the portfolio of APIs at Telefonica today? First, let me talk about the multi-telco APIs. So we have in Brazil, well, let's talk about APIs. No, the first one is the SIM swap API. This tells you if the SIM in a mobile phone has been changed recently. Because if it has, it probably represents some kind of fraud. People just changing SIMs. So this is very useful for many use cases. And we have it running in Brazil, in Spain, and in Germany. In Brazil with TIM and Claro, in Spain with Orange and Vodafone, and in Germany with Deutsche Telekom and Vodafone as well. And you see there all the different aggregators. So in Brazil, we're working with Infobip, in Spain and Germany, wow, with Vonage, and with Azure in Spain and Brazil. This list will just grow. This is the beginning. This is year one. API number verification, this you call it with a phone number that the user has entered in your application, and the API returns saying, yes, this is the phone number from which you are calling the API. So it's for verifying the phone without an SMS. We all suffer these SMSs that come, and we need to enter the numbers. This solves that. And it's ready again in Brazil, Spain, and Germany. And finally, we have in Brazil device location verification. So you call the API saying, is the user in this location? And the API returns saying yes or no. That's very important, again, for anti-fraud. There's a lot of GPS fraud. This solves that problem. So this is the current state today. Next year, we will have an exponential bigger number of APIs ready in all these countries. In general, in Telefonica, we have 9 APIs in production. Many of them are in Spain, or 8 of them are in Spain. So in the network that you're connected right now, the APIs are working. And then, well, you see, I have already talked about device location, SIM swap, number verification. But we also have quality on demand for the home device, so that if you're watching Netflix and someone else is playing a game in your home, you can decide which one gets a higher priority. Then we have carrier billing for billing in the invoice of your operator. Know your customer match. If a customer fills in the data, name, address, etc., you can ask the telco, is this correct or not? And you will get an answer saying yes or not. That, of course, with the consent of the customer. The customer has to say that accepts that this check is made on his personal data. And that's, in fact, one of the key properties of Open Gateway, that is privacy by design. We, from the very first moment, every API that we design is designed with privacy in mind, to follow all the laws, not only in the European Union, but in Brazil, in all the other areas of the world. We have the device status roaming and the one-time password with SMS. So this is the current portfolio. Next year, as I said, we'll have twice as many. And that's what Telefonica has been able to deploy. But in CAMARA, which is, as I said before, an open source standardization body, which is a combination of, or a cooperation between the Linux Foundation and GSMA, there are many other APIs. Here we have 24 APIs. Those in dark blue have been already implemented by Telefonica. Those in lighter blue are APIs that Telefonica is actively working in Camara to get them standardized, and the ones in white are coming afterwards. So just the main message here is this is not about one API. This is about opening all the capabilities of the telco. And we have many, many capabilities. Today we could think about 24 of them, but this is year one, so maybe we will see a lot more. This is a real platform for developers to get advantage of all the power of our networks. But let me say something else. Open Gateway, we believe it has to be a driver for the future specifications of our networks. You're all familiar with 3G, 4G, 5G. And if you think when the industry gets together and says, OK, what do we do in 5G? So the first thing we think is about how do we reduce cost, and the second thing is how do we increase revenues. And reducing costs, 5G has been very successful. We've done it with better coverage and energy efficiencies. This morning, the president of Telefonica was saying that in the last few years, we have increased the traffic by 9 times, 900%. And at the same time, we have reduced the energy consumption by 9%. So a lot more traffic and quite a lot less energy. So that 5G was very good for that. And 6G should be continuing this path of more efficiency, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to revenues, to making revenues, in 5G, I think we focused mostly on B2C, saying, OK, let's do more bandwidth, lower latency, and just give people more videos that they can consume, et cetera. That hasn't been that easy to monetize for us. And in IoT, we also launched some specific protocols for IoT, which is a good business. And in 6G, we should continue to drive this kind of revenue generators. But the key message of this slide, as you probably have already read, is that another driver is what developers need from our networks. Today, we're starting to learn from a number of customers what is it exactly that they need. And sometimes we find that our networks are not ready for that. So that should be the driver for improving our networks so that we serve developers better because they are willing to pay. OK, so I'm going to skip this one. Let's talk now about what is this good for. And we have a great lineup of people that are going to join me now in the stage to talk about their use cases. So we have all kinds of market opportunities in all sectors, from travel to marketing to manufacturing, media, banking, transport, all kinds of areas. So I'm going now to invite a number of people here to the stage so that we can discuss how they are using Open Gateway and how do they plan in the future to use it. So I'm going to start with TikTok. Today, Telefonica is announcing a strategic alliance with TikTok to develop solutions that use the Open Gateway APIs. And to talk about that, here is with me Michael Modun from TikTok.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Modun. I lead product and mobile partnerships at TikTok. I'm based in Los Angeles. We've been working with Telefonica for quite a few years on a handful of different initiatives, and we're so excited about this newest one today with partaking in Open Gateway. All around the world, people come to TikTok every single day to create, consume, and connect with each other. And you can imagine how important it is to have a perfect user experience when people come onto our platform. In order to do that, we need to focus on how TikTok is safe, secure, and information stays private. And the Open Gateway initiative, specifically around number verification, is quite important to us as we think about how do we have a seamless user experience that focuses on that privacy, that is a global standard, that is one that feels safe and secure. And we are elated about starting this partnership in Brazil. with that opportunity to expand to other markets all around the world. As well as think about how we expand on other specific privacy and safety and security related initiatives that are coming through the Open Gateway standard. We're beyond excited to partner with you guys, and it's been great to kind of be at the front of this when we think about consumer tech platforms.
And do you think beyond number verification that you use to verify that the number that the customer is entering is the right number, do you see any other APIs that you can benefit from, or I don't know, for instance, know your customer, to know more about the customer? Because at the end of the day, what matters really is the trust of the customers, that they know that they're in a safe place when they enter TikTok, right?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, trust is how we think about continuing to grow our company and continuing to grow our product. And it's really important that we have some of these things that are very specific to areas where it's specific to things that are around security or safety. We think around profiles specifically, and ways that we can continue to do that would be really important for us.
Yeah, so thank you very much for coming. We will see a lot more developments in this strategic relationship, and we will be doing more announcements during the year. But I think this is a clear show of the power of Open Gateway when you start thinking about what can I do with all this technology. And for TikTok, I think it's been a no-brainer.
Yeah, thank you. We really want this to be kind of a journey along the way as we continue to expand. We know that the Open Gateway project is going to continue to grow as more networks continue to come on board. And we want to really be pilots and making sure that we are focusing on this from a privacy perspective.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, let's now talk about some B2B cases. As I was saying before, we launched in Brazil. Brazil was the first country where Open Gateway was launched back in November of 2023. With these three APIs, number verification, SIM swap, and device location. So to talk about that, first I want to invite Deborah from the Telefonica team in Brazil, Vivo. She's the director of B2B.
Yes.
Hello, Deborah.
Thank you very much. Hi, David. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon.
So tell us about the Brazilian market. How is it special? How is it different? What do you see in relation to Open Gateway?
As you mentioned, nowadays I'm in charge of the B2B market in Brazil. And as you know, Brazil is a continental dimensions country with a high degree of maturity and engagement in digital service. And what we see with the many companies in Brazil from different sectors such as retail, financial, and even technology companies, they demand interoperable and standard solutions to accelerate and enhance their customers' experience. Such technology adoption leverage the experience to the market when we are proposing, for example, better customer experience with this kind of use of APIs and even anti-fraud packages to identify and to notice the customer information in any stage of the customer journey. That's impressive.
Can you talk about a little bit about the APIs that you have available now?
Yes, as you mentioned, during 2023 in Brazil, we've just started the development of 80 APIs, but we decided to prioritize 3 of them, mainly joining it with the other operators in Brazil. That is TIM and Claro, because the main issue at this moment to the customers is to guarantee that these standards, when they are deploying, they can enhance the application because they can use it with the whole operators that they are working with. So for not only for the customer journey, but also and mainly with the anti-fraud package, the financial and even the technology companies are too interested in it.
Yeah. I think the level of the reception that we've gotten by the Brazilian B2B customer has been quite amazing. Can you give us some examples of use cases and maybe bring some customers on the stage?
Yes. Since the launch, that it was last November, 2023. We are noticing, in fact, a great opportunities with the market. There are, in fact, 2 customers here with me this afternoon that we are going to talk a little bit with them. And too many POCs also with the financial, mainly with financial market and technology market, interested in this kind of application.
Okay, so let's invite to the stage Albert Lang from Itaú and Federico Vega from Frete.com.
Welcome to the stage, guys.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you to be here with us. And I'd like just to start asking you, what are the characteristics and the challenges that you are facing with the advance of digital transformation in your business? We can start to you.
Let me just explain quickly what we do. So we are a marketplace, a tech platform that enables the large truckers that you see on the roads going from one city to another. We enable those guys to find freight on real time, so they don't have to go back home empty, or they don't run with empty capacity. So the trucker makes more money at the end of the month because they are utilizing the excess capacity. The owner of the freight saves money because the trucker is no longer running empty, or they are using the excess capacity of the truck, and we have an impact on the environment on CO2 emission. So we have 900,000 unique active trucks in the platform. That's about 80% of the entire Brazilian market, which is the third largest trucking market in the world. And we process more than $450 billion per year in freight value inside the platform. So the amount of fraud, you can imagine that is massive. So today, the largest challenge for us is basically fraud, is avoiding the freight getting stolen.
What about you, Lang?
First of all, thank you very much by invitation here, Deborah. It's a pleasure to be here sharing a little bit of our challenges, our vision, our innovation that we are very together with Telefónica. Itaú, innovation for Itaú is a central pilot for Itaú in our culture. Since the pandemic it's been very clear for everyone that we need to be very adaptive in a digital world with a digital products. Going to the point, to the question, the main challenges to us with any innovation initiative with the digital transformation is how to connect the initiative with our process and our security, because we are a full banking. We have a very huge process, complex process, several layers of security. First of all, how to connect the initiative, the innovation, the transformation with our customer experience, because it's our DNA, delivery, amazing experience to our clients. Our challenge in our vision too is how to measure the effectivity of the initiative. What is the correct numbers? What is the correct perspective to measure it, to ensure that we are in the correct path, in the correct way with the transformation, with the innovation?
And how can OpenGate support and even simplify these challenges to you? How do you see it?
In our case, we load about 120,000 trucks, between 50 and 120,000 trucks per day, depending on the day. And we have to do a background check and the due diligence on the trucker every time we load the truck. So we have to do about 120,000 background checks on a trucker daily. And on the top of that, we have 180 petrol stations where these truckers are going to put gas on the truck. And there we also have to be careful that no one commits frauds. So you can imagine that the amount of background checks that we do daily are like massive. And for us, the KYC API it's very simple to implement, and it works really, really well. It's really fast. So that's where we started to work together. There are going to be several other APIs that we are going to use, but the KYC API today is the most important one for us.
Great. And for Itaú?
Well, like I said before, Itaú is constantly looking to the market, very close to our partners, looking for innovation initiatives, not just to bring, but to lead the market. We are very proud to be the first using the Open Gateway in Brazil, in financial marketing in Brazil. First to use 5G with Telefónica, with Vivo in Brazil. First to use Starlink in our brand. So innovation it's in our DNA. So The Open Gateway brings a new world, a new universe of possibilities, not just to improve our actual service, actual products, but to delivering amazing and totally different services to our customers. I believe the main thing about Open Gateway is the facility, because any initiative is very simple to connect with our current systems, our current products, with just one API, very easy to use, standard, and the initiative burn with security by design, with amazing experience to the product, to the customer.
Great. And last but not least, when you look to the benefits that you can find with the solution and the differentiation from OpenGate, how do you compare these with other market solutions to implement and solve this kind of challenge?
So I think it's unique. And one of the main conversation we're having is that if you look like 10 years ago, in most markets, fraud and fraud was committed offline, and the world was playing mostly offline, and it was manual processes. As all these markets are becoming digital, in the case of tracking, we digitalized the entire Brazilian markets, and now the war is much, much faster, and you have to fight it with data. So we are leading the anti-fraud for the trucking market in Brazil. So the solution is really unique. We are like Itaú. We are implementing tools that are very innovative that no one else is using. And this is what enables us to be always one step ahead of people trying to commit fraud, or even the entire anti-fraud markets for trucking.
That's great.
Well, for sure, the difference of Open Gateway is the facility to use the APIs. APIs, all APIs with standards, and APIs multi-telcos. We will make one hitting one API, we will hitting all telcos. This is amazing. This is the difference of other products at the market. For sure, this is the main difference. Nowadays, we are delivering the SIM swap to our anti-fraud ecosystems. It's working. Delivering, building some uses to geolocation, and KOG to quality of services to our acquirer, to our line of business, acquirer payments, Rede, and thinking not just in security, but thinking how Open Gateway can help us to deliver totally different products, remove some parts of our super app, our application, mobile application. So not just stopping in anti-fraud, that's the easier, the most benefits in short term, but we believe Open Gateway, it's open a totally new features.
That's great. Thank you very much. So proud to have you here talking about this new initiative for us at Vivo. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
So thank you. And thank you very much for coming all the way from Brazil. And rest assured that we will do whatever it takes to make sure that with Open Gateway, we're helping you solve your business critical challenges. And this whole industry is going to prepare the API so that they are useful for you, who are the customers at the end of the day. Okay, so now switching topics a little bit. When we have the APIs available, it is easy to think about the developer going to AWS, downloading the documentation, copying and pasting some code, and ready to launch the API. But there are some big corporations, many, that use systems integrators for doing all the software development. And usually, these projects are huge projects that not only rely on a single API, but have a lot more things around it. So the role of system integrators is really, really important. And to talk about that, we're inviting here Deloitte and Salesforce, Pablo and Antonio, to talk about the role of system integrators. Here we go.
Thank you, David. A pleasure being here after 1 year that we did the announcement. Now we are coming with real use cases of what we're doing over this last year. And as David said, the role of the integrator for B2B businesses is critical. There are so many applications, there are so many APIs that need a little bit more knowledge and customization than just going through a marketplace. Let me show with Antonio one example that we developed for you that will go through the details. So what you see here is basically something that was also shown before between Chema and Bala in the previous, this morning. But what you can see here is the ecosystem of different telcos. Imagine one big corporation that wants to integrate different services within so many APIs coming from these telcos. What we have developed is thanks to MuleSoft technology and integrated with Salesforce, is a platform that basically integrates those APIs seamless to the B2B. We have just started with 2 use cases, which, as you can imagine, one of them is anti-fraud that we've been speaking a lot, and the other one is facilitating the payments. You can see some APIs that we are using, and basically what we are facilitating, as I said, is the integration of these APIs, these use cases, very easily, very seamless to big corporations with certain application and also with something that is critical in the technology environment, which is the Salesforce ecosystem, which is used. Antonio, over to you. Please explain the use case, and or if you want to make any questions, David, as you want.
Well, I just wanted to ask you about the difference between developers accessing marketplaces and going directly to a very simple way, and big corporations requiring a little bit more hand-holding.
Very good question. Look, what we see is that we are at the starting of a journey which is still unwritten. You know, the different go-to-markets to really embrace this technology will keep on developing, will keep on evolving. Obviously, what we see is that the big developers communities need to access to these APIs in a seamless way. But on the other hand, big companies, big enterprises really need some differentiated and customized services. This is the difference, this path for everyone. And we see that both ways are gonna have, their space in this journey.
Precisely.
Antonio.
Okay, so one more click. So this is not just theory, this is reality. So together we built something that we're going to show tomorrow, 1:30 at the Deloitte booth, which is a real demo about this fictitious company called NTO. Remember the use cases, the industries, this is about traveling. And this is about all of you. On Thursday, you finish Mobile World Congress. You're feeling like you want to do something else in the Barcelona area, right? So there's this nice app built by NTO that offers you hiking routes, hiking trails, biking trails. And because you're biking, because you're hiking, you want it to be really easy. Okay? And easy means number verification, open gateway, guess what? To log in without remembering your password. Easy means that you're using open gateway, geolocation or geofencing to find out where you are and offer you services that are available in that area. You could think about quality on demand that was announced today. You could think about, in this case, we're offering digital services to buy some tour, biking tour over the area, Parc Collserola, just outside Barcelona. And guess what? You can pay using, again, open gateway carrier billing. So we're getting together all of those APIs that allow you to authenticate really easy, seamlessly, without fraud, because we're also using SIM swap that we also mentioned today. It's also geofencing you, localizing you during your hike, during your route, and offering you digital service that you can purchase, again, with one click to your carrier billing provided by Telefónica. This is real. This is tomorrow at 1:30. And here you have the route, but this is something you could come and see again tomorrow. Okay?
Thank you, Antonio. And then do you see any other APIs or any other work that can be done in your platforms?
Yes, well, if anybody here thinks about Salesforce, they think about sales, number one sales, service, commerce, marketing. What is that? What does this have in relationship with the network, right? So the product that is behind this platform and this use case that we built together with Deloitte, it's MuleSoft. MuleSoft is a platform for connecting devices, data, and applications. And of course, that's the status today. So MuleSoft is building this middle layer on top of all of those telco operators, because David was showing that we have 247, was that the number of network operators? 247, but there are more than 1,000. So you need a middle layer, a layer on top, which is typically called the aggregator by GSMA, that allows you to route to the right operator, because what you want is to verify a number, and you don't know the number of your customer. It could be any SIM, right? All of you could connect to this application, go outside Barcelona, and you will belong to different telco operators. So that's one. And in the future, just to finish, of course, we do see Salesforce also embracing Open Gateway for commerce, for marketing, for B2B sales, and why not using those anti-fraud services like number verification, SIM swap, know your customer to easily onboard customers into your organizations. We see that in the future too.
Thank you very much, Pablo and Antonio, for giving a different perspective about Open Gateway. I'm looking forward to serving you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so to finish, let me tell you something very clear. APIs are here. They are already available with real customers that are solving real problems, that are helping us improve the APIs and talk with the rest of the industry so that we generate the capabilities that the customers need. And now is the time for developers to start using them, to start working with them. And at Telefónica, we have 2 programs to help developers and bigger partners to collaborate with us. You have here the QR codes. First, we have a partner program where companies that are serious about developing with APIs, companies of the size of Salesforce or even smaller companies, but that really want to get into this, taking advantage of these capabilities, you register as a partner. We have a whole program with all kinds of documentation, training, et cetera, and I'm sure we can help. Then for individual developers that want to experiment, to try something quickly, see if it works, see how it would work, see how it can facilitate the flow with their customers in their applications, they can visit the Developer Hub. And there we have a sandbox where you can actually run code and see it in real life working in real networks. So these are the 2 assets that we have for developers and partners. So, yeah, this is Open Gateway. This is the future. This is the present as well. And thank you very much. And hopefully next year we will be giving you a lot more of an update. Thank you. Bye-bye.